here. Missouri State University for the men's semifinals. Niall O'Connor from Ireland up against Danny Cordova, the young freshman. Going to UTEP. My name is Dave Vincent. We appreciate the fact that you've tuned into this live broadcast today. The United States Handball Association's 60th Collegiate National Handball Championships. In the booth, we have Ashley Moeller, perennial women's top 15 pro, and Dave Fink is also going to be doing some sideline duties as well as play-by-play color commentating for this match. It will be a good one. It was Danny Cordova losing at the World Championships just a couple years back, actually 2009, to Niall, 11-10 in the breaker. And Danny Cordova gets the first serve.
All right. Okay. Danny to serve, 0-0, play ball.
Score is 0-0. This is the first serve.
Now, Dave, what do you expect to see in this match here between Niall and Daniel?
I think it's going to be pretty much what we saw with Hingy versus Mulcairns last night. Two shooters that know how to wrap balls around. It's going to be a lot of high energy with a lot of lead changes.
Side away.
There's a side out.
0 plays 1.
This has the making, guys, of our first really close, dramatic match of the event. As you mentioned earlier, Dave, there's a beautiful flat rollout from Niall. These two played
1 plays 1
in the Worlds, and Niall winning 11-10, so very evenly matched. Both guys have improved a lot since then.
Second serve.
Now O'Connor has really brought out the Irish players here. Dave, there are older fans. There are a lot of younger kids, the collegiates. I mean, it looks like those part of the Irish community here in Missouri have come out to watch this youngster from Ireland play handball. It's very impressive courtside.
And I believe that's the serve that Daniel should hit exclusively throughout this entire match. Hard Z serve into Niall's right hand, deep in that back right corner.
Enough.
Niall's left hand is very impressive.
1 plays 1.
A lot of power and control. I'd like to see Daniel hitting a hard three-wall shot into the right side wall, bring it back into that right corner.
Enough.
Forcing Niall to overplay the right corner and then
2
shooting
out.
balls down the left.
Danny Cordova serving that power serve down the right.
Second serve.
Here's the second serve.
I believe, Dave, that you serve the Z serve exclusively until your opponent proves they can defend it. And thus far, Niall has not shown me that he has the ability to defend that Z serve into the back right corner. You saw Daniel just win a free point on it. That was a terrible serve, but Niall still doesn't do much with it. Daniel took something off of that Z serve. He needs to hit that Z serve at about 90%.
Winner of this one, Dave, faces Martin Mulcairns in the finals.
Too far ahead of ourselves here, David.
No, I'm just saying the winner of this one will face Martin Mulcairns. That's not getting too far ahead. That's just stating a fact.
That's a good point.
Second serve.
Those that can't look at the brackets, that's what we're playing for here. And there's a overhand corner kill from Danny Cordova. Listen to the ref.
2 plays 3.
Cordova has 2, and O'Connor has 3.
As a server, Dave, you want to make every serve count. Thus far, Daniel's only hit 1 good serve out of 6.
And for those that are back in the production booth, I don't know what you touched or what you did, but we can all hear ourselves through the headsets and the referee and the court sounds for the first time this tournament.
So it may not be exciting to you at home, but it's very exciting for us here in the booth.
Do not move.
Scores 3, plays 3.
Just focus on the match. Don't touch any courts. Everything sounds equal here in the booth. Now, not so much. Nice get right there from Cordova.
Daniel should have ended this rally 5 shots ago. Instead, he's lost 3 rallies out of the last 4 that he should have won easily.
Back.
Looked like he tried to take a little bit off that and spin the ball into the right side wall.
Charge.
Might have been trying to hit the ball straight down the right side wall and clip the side wall on his way in.
Enough.
This is going to be a close one right now, 3-4.
3
Danny
and
Cordova
4.
stepping in from UTEP, lives in El Paso, Texas, after spending part-time over the border in Juarez, which is about 9 miles away.
If I was coaching Daniel Cordova, which I'm not, I would tell him to move the power serve side to side and don't forget about the Z serve to the right corner.
Oh, he does listen. That's one of the great things about these Cordova kids. You can give them critiques and they'll absorb it. Always eager to learn, and that ball flipped up from Niall, and he's unable to get it to the front wall. His left hand is really smooth, and I believe that's the reason why Cordova's picking on his right.
I like Daniel serving the power serve to Niall's left with a natural on it, because
4 plays 5.
Niall's left-hand return comes back to Daniel's biggest weapon, his right hand.
Enough.
A lot of little mishits up here from both players.
I think there's still a little bit of nerves here, Dave, early in this first game. This is a huge semifinal match.
Look at that dive right there from Cordova.
That's the thing about these two guys. Neither of them are afraid to go to the floor with such aggression that they want to get to every ball that they possibly can. I remember watching Niall last year in the collegiate tournament, and he severely injured his left arm, having to play the rest of the tournament one-handed.
4 plays 5.
I can see why, Dave, that Cordova's trying to keep the ball away from Niall's left hand, because off the back wall, it's just automatic.
Beautiful left hand there from Daniel. Very fluid stroke. We'll see if Daniel goes back to the serve down the right, which has not been effective at all. He's brought every serve he's hit down the right off the back wall. The revolving door to Niall's left hand.
Drop ball on the light. Second serve.
Very good serve there. I'd like to see Daniel let that ball bounce into the sidewall, back wall, take the back wall shot off that 3-wall return rather than taking on the way up. And Daniel pays the price there for a ceiling shot that falls right at that restraining line. Niall takes care of it.
Out.
Daniel didn't quite move his feet up to that shot.
5 plays 6.
Lunged for it just a bit and came up just short with a skip ball.
Second serve. Back. 6 plays 6.
We're all together at 6 with Niall O'Connor serving to Cordova. Cordova has to fight that one off in the back quarter. And it's another point now for Niall, representing ITT in Ireland.
Short.
Daniel is prone to making errors in the back court.
Second serve.
That time,
Enough.
a very lucky break for Daniel as he hits a 3-wall kill, the ball catching the left side wall about 2 inches high and staying down right in front
Score
of Niall.
6 in, 7 out. Mark.
Niall misses that fist return to the ceiling, but he's got a very developed
7-7.
right fist to the ceiling off the return of serve. And that's another great serve from Daniel. And Daniel goes inside out with that blistering pass shot down the right side wall that just
8-7.
checks up before it makes the back wall.
It's a setup for Cordova, steps into it, puts it away into that corner. Smart shot from little Danny Cordova.
9-7.
Danny's father, Luis Cordova Sr., watching back home in
Mark.
Juarez, Mexico, and his mother in El Paso right now watching this live broadcast. Brother Luis also catching every single game
Short.
on the tube here. And I'm surprised that Luis, his brother, who's also going to UTEP in business, is he out of eligibility? Could he be in this tournament, Dave?
I think he should be. I'm not sure why he's not.
I don't believe he's a full-time student as far as I can understand him.
Daniel Cordova completely dominating play here.
11-7.
Well, no
Remember
matter what happens, there will not be an All-American final because Cordova from Juarez, Mexico,
Enough.
and even Maria Dugas from Canada, who's now in the women's finals
7
of
in,
the
11 out.
Division I.
So it's actually a non-American, all non-American final.
That's right.
How do you think that'll affect our ratings?
Well, you can say it's a.
Enough.
There are representatives from North America.
11-7. On the ball.
I really like the way Daniel's playing right now. He's playing with a lot of
Come on,
purpose
please.
and conviction.
All right, 11-7.
He seems very decisive right now, Dave.
Wow, that ball
Enough.
just smoked right there. That left hand is very smooth, Dave. You might want to study this kid.
7 in, 11 out.
Like to see Niall serving that power serve down the left with a little bit of a natural to keep the ball on the wall. He's hitting the
11-7.
serve with almost a slight reverse, and the ball is popping in
Back.
to the side wall and coming off the back wall. If he hits that
12
shot with a
7.
natural, even if it comes off the back wall, it's still hugging the left side wall.
Well, you see Cordova has a game plan. He knows he's playing against the lefty, and he's trying to exploit that right side of the court. And you see
Back.
Niall trying to fight some of those balls off with his left as opposed to turning around with his right hand. And
13
sometimes
7.
you get a little over anxious. 13-7 is the score here.
Enough.
Really nice shot there from Niall. That's a difficult shot when you're that far
7
up
in,
in the
13
court.
out.
But he died the ball into the right corner.
Smart play from Cordova. That looked like it hurt. Niall just jammed his left wrist right into the side wall there. You heard the crowd oohing. Nice rally here, Dave. Ashley, this is certainly going to wear on the players eventually if they keep these rallies up like that. How do you prepare as an athlete for a big match like this, national championship? Nothing really emulates this type of long extended rallies in your workouts. I know you're a tough mutter. You do those Ironman races.
No Iron Man.
Iron Woman races,
No.
the tough mutter. How do you prepare for this?
Well, you definitely need to do cross training because you can play handball, but to get your lung capacity up, you just need to get on a bike or run and make sure your legs are very strong also, because in a lot of games we see a lot of cramping. And you have to make sure that your muscles are prepared to endure long rallies, long matches that could possibly last a couple hours at a time.
Dave, you play tennis. Is that type of cross training work for you when it comes to handball, the lateral movement back and forth?
Yeah, I think it helps quite a bit, but there's no replacing playing matches at this level. So the more you can play these type of matches, the more lung capacity you're going to have. It's hard to emulate this kind of intensity if you're running on the treadmill or even if you're running stairs. It certainly helps, but the more you can play these types of matches and feel the burning in your lungs,
Scores 13 in, 7 out.
the more well-conditioned you'll be. And I think the Irish seem to have training partners in each one of their counties that sort of push them, and they are able to emulate these type of situations in practice, whereas a lot of the American players live so far from one another that they really don't have the ability to push themselves in practice.
It must help, Ashley, to have your brother is currently ranked number 9 on the Pro Tour be somebody to spar against. I mean, I would see these guys having these extended long rallies, just like you're seeing right now for Luis Cordova.
Definitely an
Danny
advantage for
Cordova.
Daniel that he has his brother to play against, but in Ireland, I'm sure Niall has just as tough competition to play against also.
It's amazing watching the maturity of both these guys. You heard Daniel Cordova in one of the interviews he did yesterday saying that he wouldn't notice the crowd cheering against him or for him, or even notice that there was a crowd there, but it can be very distracting being in this court, Dave. There's hundreds of people outside here on the sidewall and back wall glass. There's a lot of noise. There's people moving around. And these guys are just completely oblivious to all of that. It shows that their mental toughness is as good as I've ever seen.
Back.
Yeah, we definitely don't see them looking at the cameras or looking at the crowd like we've seen in some of the other matches yesterday and today.
Enough.
Don't forget also that there's some sun that starts to peek its way through the
14 in,
left
10
side
out.
back wall glass in the early afternoon here in
Back.
beautiful Springfield, Missouri.
15 plays 10.
Strange
really
miss hit right there from Niall.
Really lackadaisical there.
I agree with you, Ashley.
16 plays 10.
I think he just lost it in the back wall. Completely lost it
Drop
and just waited
off.
for it to come out of the darkness. It came right into his hand,
Seconds
though.
off.
He just flipped it in the ground. Oh. Danny back right into Niall's back wall shot there.
I like that shot from Daniel. Everyone in the building, including Niall, expecting Daniel to go down the left with that left
17 plays
corner
10.
kill opportunity, but he drove the ball right back
Dark.
at Niall. Front wall, sidewall to the right. Niall made the hand error.
Seconds off.
I thought I heard the score of 17 to 10, but I see 15-11 on the scoreboard. Now I can't hear the referee, but sometimes these numbers sound the same. Wow, that's a tough one.
And incredibly, Daniel somehow, with an overhand
Let's look at
soft
the replay.
touch,
Dave, let's look at the replay here. Did he even touch that ball?
18
he did
plays
just
10.
barely.
I think I'm hearing 18 to 10. Here's a great camera angle as we watch
Enough.
Cordova just take his fingers and spank them right into the side wall there. I know you
10
hate
plays
spanking your
80.
fingers, Ashley.
No comment to that.
Was that the old DV or the more refined new DV?
Well, I know she showed me yesterday she has a fingernail that's basically removed from smacking her finger into the side
On
court
it.
there. So she has these great looking fingernails,
Enough.
except for her middle digit has no fingernail. And that's from playing handball. So I Told her I
18
bet you she
in,
hates
10 out.
spanking her fingernails like that.
So you were prepared with a restage.
That was actually a true statement.
Enough.
Ashley will back me up. Let's look at it. Look at this thing.
10 in,
It's a
18 out.
nasty looking digit. Love to
She
show
has
it
a
to you on
French
camera.
manicure on 9 fingers.
She gets a 10% discount.
Enough.
10% off every time she gets her fingers done.
All right, get a total.
It's pretty bad when you go in and they say automatically you must play
That's
handball.
how-
You're watching the 60th United States Handball Association's four-wall collegiate national handball championships. We're here, Missouri State University. This replay brought to you by Simple Green.
And you see Daniel Cordova having to wipe the floor with a paper towel.
They don't have towels here at the rec center for some reason, but you see on that replay right there that Now's reaction was to kick the ball, not to put his hand down and try to hit it. Ball went to the front wall, and for some reason, instinctively, this Irish Gaelic footballer decided to stick his foot out. But dawned on him it was the wrong
You
sport.
would think that Daniel would be the one sticking his foot out with his
Soccer background.
background.
I think they should allow it.
They call that football in Mexico.
And this is handball.
All right, 18 plays 10.
I believe it's 18 to 10, lost all audio again. So if you can't hear us, then you just hear what I just said.
Right the
You
ball,
see
please.
Daniel making a great adjustment on Niles' return of serve that hit the front wall,
10
ceiling
score.
back wall. He knew how to play that shot with the spin coming off the back wall.
That was another scraper.
And
Very
off.
nice
He's out of
shot
position
making
there.
from both guys there. Niall hitting a
10,
great
18
two-wall
out.
pass with his right hand. Daniel driving the left corner, and then Niall finding the right corner. And Niall looks
Right away.
very fatigued to me right now. Dave doesn't seem like he has the
18
legs
in,
to
10 out.
continue to run with Daniel. And Daniel will run all day.
Well, don't
Yard.
forget this, Ashley, going on with what Fink just said. Danny Cordova is the only
Seconds
player
out.
here representing UTEP. Therefore, he's not playing doubles. He wants to, but can't because there's not another student. So he's not going two ways like Niall is.
And look at Niall slow to move to that ball as well. That ball was way up.
Cordova played that perfectly. He knew that Niall was going to flip it around. Then he goes around with a left-handed flip back to the front wall. Here's a setup for Cordova. Pushes it with a skinny V.
Back.
Pass on that right wall. Unbelievable two-wall pass.
Brilliant shot there as he saw Niles jump in front of him, anticipating the
19
kill.
plays 10.
And his only shot there was that skinny V pass, and he hit it perfectly.
This could be another setup, overhand. Oh, unbelievable left
No.
corner splat kill.
I'd like to
10
ask him
in,
to try that one
19 out.
again.
Actually,
was-
he might try it
Shot.
again.
That was an unbelievable shot. That was a
Seconds off.
fist kill into the right corner.
Back. 11 playing 19. Back.
Niles showing that he's also very comfortable with his offhand, his right hand, as he drills a kill shot from 34 feet.
12 plays 19. Out.
Can you hear the
Seconds
score
off.
here? 12 serves 19. Now, Dave, do you think that Niall has enough energy to possibly even think about a comeback here?
Well, I don't think he has the energy or the ability to
Check the
score
ball.
9 points before Daniel scores 2. Daniel's virtually doubling
12
Niles'
plays 19.
score right now. He's
Shot.
been the dominant player here thus far in the first game. It would be a
Seconds off.
dramatic turnaround if Niall was able to come back and score 9 of the next 11 points. Love that shot there from
Enough.
Daniels.
I like how Danny stopped immediately to hold Niall
19
behind
in,
him.
12 out.
Thought that was a smart veteran move. Kid's been playing handball since he was 3 years old.
Mark.
Nice back wall kill right there. This place is crowded watching this young kid from
20, game
Chihuahua,
ball,
Mexico.
serve 12.
Danny Cordova wearing the orange shirt. That was a strange shot right there.
Well, watching him play, you can tell he's trying to develop a soft touch game. He's not like some of the kids that just go in there and try to pound every shot hard. It seems like he's still developing it, needs to fine-tune some of those shots still.
And off.
I see Danny playing a little tentative right now, like almost as if to maybe get a free point here
12 in,
without
20
having
out.
to exert himself.
Well, he hit a couple of strange shots in that last rally. I think just hoping that Niall would miss and the game would be over. But as you know, Dave, guys will often play their best handball when they're trailing 12-20 or 13-20 because they've got nothing to lose. There's no pressure.
Well, I saw both players look like they were just hitting little soft shots in the front court, almost to try to get it over
14
with.
plays 20.
14-20, 7 points behind is Niall O'Connor.
Ball Niall, thank you. Second serve.
That ball stayed up for Cordova. Niall's able to get it back, but not to the
And
front
off.
wall. Now side out, and serving for the first game is Danny Cordova from University of
20 plays
Texas,
14.
El Paso.
Short.
I know, Dave, that throwback doesn't make you happy. You didn't put it right on
Second
Daniel's hand like
I
you
thought
would
it was
like.
all right. Thought it was tricky. Kind of liked it.
And Niles has given Daniel a setup on every Z serve that he's
first
hit in that
game.
back right corner that hasn't clipped the back wall first. And I
5 minutes.
frankly don't understand why Daniel's not serving that serve every time, but hard to argue with what Daniel did there in the first game, completely dominating.
Let's look at this replay
Niall.
right here as Danny pokes this ball down the right wall, about 2 inches high, gets that first game. 21-14. We're going to take a quick time out here courtside. Be back for game number 2. This is the men's semifinals at the 60th United States Handball Association's Four-Wall Collegiate Handball Championships. Stick around. More action next.
Push the PA button. Okay. It doesn't have to be on unmuted.
Well, it doesn't have to be. That's weird. Well, take the mute button, erase it, and put live.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You sound good. I don't really like it being loud, to be honest, but that's just me. Oh, she sounded okay. I don't like when you guys are too loud because it interrupts what we're saying. If it's a little bit lighter and maybe in one ear, it would be better. But that's just me being, me. Again, I don't know anything. I've just been doing this for 25 years.
This is our first winner.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, that's that D2 women's,
Okay.
right?
And for what it's worth, she accommodated.
And we are back for game number 2. It was Danny Cordova taking down Niall
Second
O'Connor
game.
in the first
0-0.
one.
Play ball.
And there's the first serve. I don't know if Danny's going to be able to match that intensity that he had in the first game, Dave. I mean, he's really going to have to do something here to
1-0.
match that.
I've seen Daniel play every match and every game I've ever watched with the same intensity, so I'm not sure where your apprehension
2-0.
is arising. Although right now it's Plaxico Burris off to a really good start here early in game number 2.
Well, that's Niall O'Connor. He's wearing a Plaxico jersey.
I thought he was playing like Plax, though, because, you know, when Plax isn't really into the game, he stops running his routes. But then you throw him a couple balls, and all of a sudden he's becomes interested again. You start seeing those high, that was a double fault. You start seeing those high-flying post grabs in the end zone. And right now, Plax is driving his team down the field, Dave, successfully on this opening drive of the second half.
Kind of playing safe here. That ball handcuffs Cordova, though. Fought off by O'Connor. Overhit from Cordova, dug out from O'Connor. And then a terrible hand air there. O'Connor now up 3-0.
4-0.
Well, O'Connor's in field goal range now. But I think he's going to go for the touchdown, Dave. That's a definite avoidable hinder, not even close.
Enough.
And then O'Connor hits the ball right in the ground.
Well, the hinder should have been called earlier, and then O'Connor had an
Doing
opportunity to move out of the way and actually shifted into Daniel.
Shark.
And people say Plaxico doesn't block off the ball. I'd get amazing dive there from Daniel. That wasn't one of those big ball flop dives that we see, Ashley. That was a full flying Cordova.
The flying Cordova. Sounds like it could be a name for something else.
We have our... I hope it's not a euphemism for something else, because we have a wide array of viewers right now that might take offense. But we have our first final here today as we watch this rally develop between Cordova and O'Connor in the women's D2 division. The champion, Anna Murphy from University of Florida, defeats Regina Kim
2+4
from UC Berkeley in a tiebreaker.
It's actually Regina.
Well, she calls herself Regina.
Enough.
And that was a miss hit there from Niall.
4 in, 2 out. Shark.
Be difficult for Niall to get his shoulder pads on underneath that shirt. It's pretty snug.
That was down, Niall. That was down. Enough. 2 in, 4 out. Short ball, second serve. Enough.
And Daniel nearly threw Niall off there with that tricky side spin, but Niall adjusted his feet
4 in, 2 out.
and ended the rally 3 inches high.
Enough. 2+4.
Daniel drilling a kill there from his shoulder height off the back wall. Actually, I know you teach a lot of handball. Do you teach any of your students to shoot the ball from chest high off the back wall?
Definitely not. You try to tell them to let the ball
4+2.
drop as far as possible to have a higher percentage in your making a good
Mark.
kill shot.
That's the big difference I
Play
see
plays 2.
with the older generation compared to the new guys coming in. The offensive strike zone is so much greater. These guys are willing to shoot the ball from chest height with either hand from anywhere on the court and do it successfully.
Mark. Six plays 2.
6-2 is the score here with Niall O'Connor serving to Danny Cordova. The winner of this one will face Martin Mulkerns
Timeout.
in the final, and Cordova taking a timeout here, now 7-2.
Ashley, I think you asked for that fist kill again, and he gave it to you.
You know, I actually really like that shot. You know, as many fist balls as I hit, I always look forward to somebody else taking the unorthodox shots like that.
Well, Dave talks a lot about Nadia Alvarado's natural being a reverse. Your natural, Ashley, is actually a fist.
Let's look at
That
the
one-
replay here of that overhand tomahawk down the right this time.
And I'm actually done for the weekend here. As my goal is only one laugh from Dave Vincent. I got it.
Just so nonchalant, sort of Sean Linning-like with
Well,
that
I think
left
he
hand.
has to make it nonchalant to sell that he's going to go back up to the ceiling and keep Daniel flat-footed in the back court. So at the last second, he flicks that wrist, and Daniel is completely caught off guard.
All right. Seven in, 2 out. Mark.
And Daniel now very flat here
Eight
early in
plays
his
2.
second game. Really has not looked good
Rock.
at all. He's not even moving well, and I think you see that a lot when your shots go
Seconds
a little
off.
bit off. Your feet stop working as well. It's almost a chain reaction.
Mark.
Daniel looking at his hand there as if his
9
hand
plays 2.
wasn't cooperating with the rest of his body.
Sometimes, Ashley, when you play so well in the first game against such a great player and you realize how close you are to your goal, you lose your concentration and then you lose your confidence. You start questioning yourself, can I maintain this level of play throughout this entire match? And when you start questioning yourself and asking yourself those kinds of questions, your game falls off. And I think that's what's happened here early in the second game for Daniel Cordova. I thought Daniel played
Two
about
in,
as
9
well as
out.
I've ever seen him play in that first game. I've seen Daniel play a lot over the last couple of years.
Fair play. Contact.
Daniel not extending on that back wall shot. He had plenty of time to move to his left, let the ball get a little bit out in front of his body, but he short-armed it,
Mark.
and he comes back with an unreturned serve.
3 plays 9.
3-9 score here. Game number 2, Cordova wins the first one. Trying to match that intensity that he had in the first game. O'Connor hasn't taken one step here, Dave.
Not a good shot there from Daniel.
Is Cordova completely
Mark.
gassed in here right now? Looks like he's very tired, and O'Connor just stood in one spot.
Well, Daniel averaged 66 miles per hour on every shot he hit throughout the first game. Right now, Dave, he's averaging 53 miles per hour, so you can see a significant drop-off in the pace that he's hitting the ball, and I think that has a lot to do with fatigue. Even there, Dave, he hits a brilliant back wall kill, but he took a lot off of that shot. That was only 46 miles per hour. We saw him hit back wall shots in the low 70s in that first game. Conversely, Niall is maintaining and even increasing the velocity on his shots.
Now, yesterday, Dave, you commented on one of the young players not quite having
9
their
in,
leg
5
strength
out.
built up. and not being fully developed. Do you think that Daniel still has a lot of growing and maturing to do?
Absolutely. I think the big misconception is people think that these kids are young and they can play forever, but in reality, they're really not yet a man. There's still a lot of physical maturing yet to happen with these young guys, and I feel like they'd be the first to experience that exhaustion during these long events. You see a guy like Dave Chapman, people can't understand how he can play match after match in a tournament, but he's got such unbelievably strong legs and a strong upper body. It doesn't appear that he's all that fit, but he has that leg strength and upper body strength. Daniel Cordova, at only about 135 pounds, does not yet have the strength of a man.
And off.
And these type of matches, as soon as your legs go, the rest of your game just completely falls off because your legs are so
5
important.
in, 11 out.
Great get there from Daniel. And when your legs go, your decision making also goes. You don't have the will to prolong rallies. You start going for rally ending shots prematurely without working the rally and waiting for a good opportunity.
Drop ball.
You're watching the 60th Collegiate National Handball Championships, brought to you by the United States Handball Association. This is the men's semifinals. Winner will face Martin McKearns. Nice dive right there from Danny Cordova.
There's the flying Cordova in action right into your living room as Daniel takes off before the short line, flies through the air, and ends the rally. That's like the Michael Jordan slam dunk win where he copied Dr. J. He took off before the free throw line, Dave, and soared through the air with that 10.0 dunk, registering at 50 out of 50 to win that competition.
Let's look at a replay here. This was an overhand fist shot directly into the face of Niall O'Connor, and I'm surprised that the physio did not come into the court immediately. Let's watch this play right here. Dave Fink. Bam, right in the side of the face. That had to hurt. And Niall is going to take a quick breather here. That one was right in the side of his face. He turned right around to see what Cordova was going to do. And let's look at it again on the replay just because we're just not right. Our physio for Ireland is sitting right here in the gallery.
Is she also a dentist?
Yeah.
As
I see Cordova shaking.
I believe he
Niall's
might have
hand
lost
here.
a couple of teeth there. May need a root canal, not a stretch down.
Let's see how that motivates these players. Cordova playing very smooth as opposed to that aggressive Cordova that we saw earlier.
I believe the aggressive Cordova is the Cordova at his best.
Nice dig right there from Cordova.
And I feel like a boxing announcer right now, Dave, because Niall is starting to develop some major swelling and redness on that lower lip.
And off.
I'm surprised we don't see.
It's sort of on the right portion of his lower lip. And you can see it, and you can see him adjusting his jaw. And he knows it's there. He'll have a significantly fat lip as this match progresses. Almost like to go in there and put ice on it for about 5 minutes, Dave, and keep that swelling down, because that does become uncomfortable. I know, Dave, you've been punched in the mouth a number of times, and you...
I should have been. I'll tell you that, but I know you're more worried about your look than the actual play on the court. I don't think Niall's concerned about it. Danny's going to give it to him.
All right,
bad bounce. I mean, what are you going to say to the guy that you just punched straight in the face? No? I know
That would
you
really
would,
be
but
sticking the dagger in.
well, the dagger's being stuck in from Niall right now. He's up 11-6. Danny's just not playing as hard as he did earlier.
And Niall, inexplicably sometimes, goes to that nonchalant shot making where he just doesn't move his feet. And there's an example of it right there. I don't know if it's a lack of concentration or if he just gets bored during the rally. I'm not really sure. There's more of it.
I think they're tired, Dave. Look at that dive right there from Niall. Both players are also playing very crowded here. The play is really tight. That's a nice dive and amazing rally the crowd enjoys here courtside at MSU. We saw the flying O'Connor there.
7 plays 11.
That's the Irish version of the flying Cordova. You have to look it up in the Urban Dictionary to find out what a flying Cordova means. We can't really say it live on the air. That's another one of those back flips from O'Connor. These players can do anything, Dave. They've got every shot already.
Including the overhand whiff.
You've had that happen before. You go to the back wall, you feel like you've got another 2 or 3 inches on that back wall, and you come up in your glove, because it's made out of that leather material, will catch the glass and actually stop your swing. And it just that much will allow for a hand error and sometimes even a miss hit. Here's the replay.
Look at that flat-footed open stance action there from Niall, and there's more flat-footed action there. I think you're right, David. Just complete exhaustion. I like that no call from the referee.
I didn't like it.
I'm not sure the referee's watching the match, though, so I'm not going to give him all that much credit.
See how close these guys are together?
But look at that lazy handball there from Niall.
And then flip back from Niall.
Well, these guys, Dave, remind me a little bit of Tyree Bastidas, who gives everything he's got on every point in the first game, and after the first game, he has absolutely nothing left. And these guys, Dave, are young. They're not as experienced in tournament play, although they both played a lot of tournaments, but you have to understand how to pace yourself throughout a match. And that doesn't mean that you're not going all out for every ball, but it does mean that you have to recognize that I'm playing potentially 2, maybe 3 games in this match, and I need to have something left in that second and third game.
And there's a point for Cordova. He actually mishit that ball, and so did Niall. But Cordova actually had a fly kill opportunity, Ashley, and decided not to take it up there.
You're seeing a lot more soft paddling and weak shots into the corners now as from both guys. That time, Niall falling back rather than moving back and hitting the ball off his back foot. And a terrible
miss.
error there from Niall. I know, Dave, that you're saying that that fat lip that he's developed isn't bothering him, but he has not done anything since he took that fist overhand to the face. And now this just become very sloppy handball. Neither guy really able to do anything with the ball.
It's as if they're just wishing that one or the other would mess up already so that they could get the rally over with.
And finally a good shot there from Niall, and almost an amazing get, but as you saw, Ashley, the first ball that was well struck ended the rally. The first 17 shots of that rally were all meekly hit.
I think they're going to get back into it here in a second, Dave, because you're going to have to. There's a little bit of contact, no call from the referee. Now he finally calls it.
Well, that had to be called there. Niall had his hand on the ball in one bounce after making contact and being screened. That was an obvious
I agree
call.
that it's supposed to be called, but why wasn't it called when it happened, not after it was over with?
Well, I prefer a late call to a no call, if it's correct.
I prefer the early call to a late one. I think that's the argument I'm making.
But at the end of the day, it's the same call.
Yeah,
so.
but there's a guy that has to go dive for a ball that could have been called earlier. You're going to save a little bit of energy. This is crunch time, Dave. I know you've never been to the semifinals of a tournament, but if you were, nice 2-wall pass shot right there from Danny Cordova, who just gave us an example of a flying Cordova earlier.
Talk to him later.
11 plays 11.
What was the call there? A foot fault? Oh, that's a cracked serve right there from Cordova, who said there ain't no foot fault in this game.
12 plays 11.
ball was really close to being short. I have no opinion on it either way, Dave.
That's
Wow.
3 consecutive aces now down the right for Daniel Cordova.
Well, it would have been 4 without the foot fault. Why don't we call a timeout here, O'Connor? I mean, he's located the serve to your offhand. I think this is going to wake up O'Connor a little bit. He has to be upset.
I think it's more deflating than upsetting when your opponent is serving aces at will.
That was a backhanded flying Cordova. I did actually look it up in the Urban Dictionary just to see, and it is not a good thing. And I'm not going to tell you what it is live on the air, but you're going to have to look it up yourself. You're watching the 60th United States Handball Association's four-wall collegiate national championships. It's the semifinals of Division I. Look at the replay here. Cordova takes this ball. Here on the replay. They have these 40-shot rallies, so these replays last forever. There's that miss right there from Cordova. Are you guys catching the score here? Always hate that shot, Dave, because your opponent runs into you because they're out of position. And now who actually smoked that ball past Cordova ends up having to play it over.
I didn't agree with that call. Thought that ball was past him and on the wall.
I mean,
you see most referees make that hinder call there. I don't agree with it.
Cordova ran the wrong direction. I mean, if Niall wasn't there, Cordova would have been way far away from the ball. He would have had to take a different angle to get to it. Now there's another point right here. Now Ireland trying to get behind their horse.
You make it sound like this is the Kentucky Derby. I thought there was only one horse here, but it seems like we've got a full lineup now.
I think we're all going to be taking our bets for the rest of the finals.
Pun well played. Apparently not so much.
We're all together at 14 here.
A strange attempt there from Plax.
14 in, 14 out.
Great digs and hustle from Daniel Cordova. Pushes Niall into the back court. Here's a big setup. A lot of banging going on right now. Front wall first, right back at one another.
These guys are tired, Dave. Seen a lot of off-balance shots here.
I see a lot of shots hitting the middle of the front wall first, really with no purpose.
Cordova's just hopping around the court here. Is there going to be a timeout called after this rally ends? Look at that almost get right there from Cordova, and the timeout is called.
Daniel Cordova almost with an amazing pickup off this great two-wall pass shot from Niall O'Connor.
I'll come back in about 2 minutes on this instant replay because that's how long it's going to take doing 1/4 time. Danny Cordova calling that immediate timeout. If he wasn't going to do it, I was going to ask for a TV timeout. Exhausted back here in the booth.
Bring out the man in the red hat.
This replay is still going on in case you're at home keeping score. You're watching the instant replay of one of the longest rallies we've ever seen. But that works out well with this timeout. You see Cordova just standing there with his hands on his knees, and he almost rolls that ball out flat, Dave. If he was in the play there, he could have got that ball back, I think.
It was incredible how close Daniel came to making that final shot, which was the 51st shot of the rally.
And another point right there from Niall. It's now all together at 14.
14 plays 14.
After that timeout, both guys coming in and hitting the ball significantly harder than they were during that previous rally.
Nice dig right there from O'Connor. Cordova decides to send it right back to where he came from.
And that's an off-balance shot there. There's no reason to fade back there and hit that shot in the left corner. He could have taken 2 steps back and moved into that shot. Much less likely to hit the skip.
Well, if you are going to do it while you're serving.
I'd like to see Danny learn to square his body and square his feet to the side wall when he's hitting the ball with his left hand down the right. He's hitting all these left-handed kill shot attempts with the open stance.
This is a strange one here.
Both players are completely flat-footed.
Oh, you
during
take
the
a
entire
replay of that
rally.
last rally.
Well, we're not going to be able to see what happened here.
Well,
from
no,
this angle.
Niall thought that Daniel picked up a serve on 2 bounces. That was his argument. That's why he stopped playing.
I know. I say that we're not going to be able to see it on the actual replay because it's behind the camera. Now, from our angle, what happened is the ball went down and it just hit the back wall and bounced right back up. It actually was a good play. It just frustrated O'Connor, who felt it was a double bounce. And I can see why everyone in the building would have felt that way. But if you're looking from our angle, the ball does some weird stuff when it hits multiple walls here.
And it seems to have motivated O'Connor as the last 2 points. He's hit a flat kill and now an ace serve.
Well, you don't want to disrespect an Irish player, even if they are wrong. This is going to give some fuel to O'Connor. It feels like he's been disrespected here, Dave. I told Fergal Collins one time in a tournament that I felt that it was 2 bounces, and he asked me if I thought he was lying, and I said yes. That was all she wrote for DV.
Huh.
Lost by 2 points.
14 plays 15.
Well, I know for any player, if you accuse them of 2 bounces, it really is disrespectful in a way.
It's not really accusing when you see the ball bounce twice. It's more like telling.
There's a lot
So
of
the referee is now going to call whatever the players want.
Well,
Cordova's
that's an
gonna get the serve
avoidable.
back.
It's either a no call or an avoidable there. That's definitely not a hinder. Let's take a quick instant replay of that. It looked to me like Daniel took the shot.
15 plays 15.
What's the call there? I mean, on the replay, I didn't see anything. That was O'Connor. Cordova actually should have 16 here. The referee called the score. He served the ball, and his opponent was outside the court. I totally disagree with that call from the referee. I don't even see how that could be
completely
called.
disagree with that call
If
as well.
that's the case, then every single one of these are hindered.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
And you hear the Irish now really getting behind Niall as they feel he's been slighted in 2 of the last 5 rallies, and you hear them really urging him on.
Long rally here between Niall O'Connor and Danny Cordova.
Terrible shot there from Niall O'Connor, who could have done pretty much anything with that shot. I thought he would pass Daniel behind him to the right. Instead, he tries an open-handed ceiling shot, and it just didn't have the right spin. David went straight up and down.
Altogether at 15.
And there's more the lazy feet from Niall O'Connor, just not moving himself out of the way. You'd think at a critical juncture here in this match that he would get those feet going, but we've seen lapses in his concentration throughout this match. I'm not sure.
Cordova thought that O'Connor was going to take that with his left hand, and he turned around and took it traditional with his right.
Well, what's the call there, Dave? Because he completely took away every lane that O'Connor had to the front wall. And I agree with you. Sometimes you think your opponent's going to take it with your left. You're in a position where he has an opening, and then he takes it with his right, and now you've completely blocked him out.
Yeah, negligence is still not an excuse. That's what the officer said to me when I was going 120 and a 35. I said, well, I didn't know what the speed limit was, and he said, negligence is not an excuse. Your negligence of the rules does not mean that you have an excuse. And I said, okay, whatever that means.
Well, you seem to know what it means. You're citing it here in a...
Well, I'm just telling you that just because you don't think or you don't know the rule or because you think you're getting out of the way does not mean. But
15 plays 16.
kind of some strange circumstance over here.
That's the first time I've ever seen Daniel Cordova complain about anything.
Well, when you have a flash going off in your eyes on the side glass, it kind of does bug you.
No love lost here between these two players. You don't see Daniel Cordova stretching out his hand to help Niall up off the floor. He was right next to him.
Oh, there's another one of those cracked serves. I would actually take a break right here if I were Niall. You don't want Danny to reel off another 3 of these. Goes for it again. It's going to be a setup for Cordova. He's trying to pass it by Niall, who has such smooth hands, Dave. And that ball gets him on the side wall, and the crowd from Ireland really cheering for Niall O'Connor. And there is a timeout being called here courtside as Niall goes back into the box. You're watching the WPH live coverage of the 60th United States Handball Association's 4-wall Collegiate National Championships. Here's an instant replay as Cordova pounces on that ball. Dave Fink is courtside. Ashley Moeller is also right here in the booth. We are working on the audio in the booth so we can hear ourselves better. Actually, that volume actually helped out a little bit, I believe. That increase of volume. Now we can't hear anything, but it was sounding pretty darn good.
That was down. It was down. Hit him in the ankle.
What's the play here? No, Dave Fink. Dave Fink, what's the play? What's the call here? You're not part of the reffing. Let this take place here. Yeah, but he's not going to change his call now. Let this happen. Bad reffing is part of the game. Going to be a lot of these real controversial type calls right here with this referee, and these players are both tripping over each other. They're playing very close. 18-16. We're in crunch time right now. I'm really sorry you feel that way. I actually believe it is acceptable. 17-18. That's a great part about handball is that it's flawed. Second serve. I do like it. Let's see who can get these last couple points. I believe whoever wins. Gonna rephrase that. Look at that shot right there. And a diving Cordova gets it back, and the crowd loves it. Cordova serving here. Oh, and he tees off on it, goes O'Connor. That is a side out. I was kind of thinking that Cordova's going to try to sway the referee here. And now
Daniel
we're all
takes
together
a bad
at 18.
Daniel takes a bad angle at that left corner kill.
Let's look at the replay here, brought to you by Zions, the official sports drink of the UFC.
That was a good shot there from Niall O'Connor, but it did pop up, and Daniel backed up rather than moving 45 degrees towards that ball and ended up a little bit too far back in the court to pick it up.
Ashley, out of all the handball that you've witnessed so far this weekend, how do you feel about this game right here?
I would say this is the best handball I've ever seen.
I agree with Ashley Moeller. This is the best handball I've ever seen. When I say best, I'm not talking about the best, shot selection and the best shots I've ever seen, but the most energetic and kind of that sick feeling you get in your stomach when you're in kind of tense. I
never felt that way when I was watching Paul Brady and Tony Healy 9-9 in the tiebreaker, the Nationals.
Nothing?
No, I didn't feel that way at all. But the way I feel right now in this semifinal collegiate match supersedes any of that.
We're all together at 18. If Niall takes this game, I believe he wins the breaker, Dave.
I believe Niles is up 19-18.
Oh, and Cordova stuck down. Niall took the shot. The referee let him take it. I don't know how they're going to replay this now.
Well, Niall gave the horse a stare down there and convinced the referee to give him the call. I think it was the right call.
Danny stuck down. He didn't jump back up and get back into position.
Doesn't mean it's not a hinder.
I'd rather have my opponent laying on the floor. I don't care where the ball's hit. Danny's very defensive right now. Niall looks like he is just pushing Danny all around the court.
I would call it more passive than defensive. That was a really good shot there from Daniel Cordova. He steps in, he hits that at the perfect height. Niles thought he had a play on that ball coming off the back wall, but it just died as it made its way towards the back court.
18 plays 18.
All together at 18.
And Niles was a little sloppy with his footwork there. He almost tripped on himself, but he still got himself in a great position to hit one of the easiest shots that he could have hoped for. And he puts a back wall setup with his left hand from the restraining line into the ground.
Score is 19-18 for young Cordova.
I like that serve.
Ball had a strange checkup, Dave.
And Daniel overhitting the pass there.
And the mark given
I
from
think
the
that's a good
Irish
call.
coach to the Irish player, and the crowd here not happy. Let's look at the replay if we can quickly here. I don't know if I agree. Dave, look at this replay. Irish referee giving a mark called to the...
He went the wrong way.
Well, Niall just appealed the hinder call, and the appealsman overturned the hinder call. That's not an appealable call. But you don't want me to be involved, so I'm not.
I think he went the wrong way, and then it hit
I
the
agree
crack,
with
and
you,
he
Ashley.
grabbed Cordova going over to create the hinder.
Oh, and he gets a cracked serve right there.
It's good. That's a good serve. Terry, what's the short?
You agree with that short call, Dave?
No, I thought it was.
It was good serve. It was good. He feels it.
Why would you put the thumbs up with the referee after he called a short
I
call?
thought he called it good. He said mark after the serve. I thought the serve was good.
Well, here's game point and match, and Cordova takes it down nonetheless. Cordova advances to the finals of his first ever collegiate handball experience here in Missouri State University. There's the replay of Cordova taking down Niall O'Connor. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. We have more handball action right around the corner. In fact, it's going to be Lisa Lofnan, I know I'm going to say that name wrong a few times, University of Limerick versus Katrina Casey, also from the very same school. We'll have more women's semifinal and semifinal action here in Missouri. We'll be back in just a bit. Stick with us at racefor8.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm here at Placer Sports Complex on the campus of Missouri State University here in Springfield, Missouri. We're in a couple weeks, February 22nd through the 26th. We'll have over 300 student athletes from all over the world getting ready to throw down some fierce competition in the 60th annual USHA National Collegiate Championships.
50% pain, 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights.
There'll be two facilities here at Placer Sports Complex. We have 12 courts, and also at Hammond Student Center, we have 5 courts over there.
People still think that they know him. He knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about reality and making some noise.
Teams have been gearing up for this 5-day competition all year long. Up for grabs are multiple individual titles as well as the 3 different team titles: the women's team, men's team, and combined team titles. This is one of the biggest handball events in the world every year.
The fact that many misjudge him because he makes a living from writing raps. Put it together himself, got a picture connects. Never asking for someone's help to get some respect.
We'd love for you guys to come out, have a good time, and welcome to Bear Country. Mo what? Mo State.
This is 20% skill, 80% fear, be 100% clear, cause Ryu was ill. Who would've thought he'd be the one that set the West in flames? And I heard him wreck it with the crystal method, name of the game. Came back, dropped Megadeth, took him to church. I like Bleach, man. Ryu had the stupidest verse, this dude is the truth. Now everybody giving them guest spots.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
For 20 years, the Inner City Handball Association has educated, mentored, and served young people through handball. Young people that participate in the Inner City Handball Association programs have a high graduation rate from high school and continue on to college. Inner City Handball teams are good athletes, good students, and good ambassadors for the sport of handball. We need your help to continue our work. Inner City Handball Association is a registered 501c3 tax-exempt charity. Please donate today. Thank you.